because I guess we all have plans for today. So try to keep this short and nice. I co-chairing that on behalf of the major group for children and youth, together with my lovely colleague Chechi from the Indigenous Major Group, who is then chairing the meeting tomorrow. The agenda items we identified is reporting back from yesterday's negotiations. Just making around who can report back from what happened yesterday in Working Group 2 and Working Group 1. Then confirming today's interventions, just having a look at who volunteered for that and just confirming that for the Secretariat. And then having a look at who wants to do interventions tomorrow. Then probably a short announcement about possible press conferences, and then any announcements from your side. Is there anything else that we need to discuss that is missing? Cool. Then we start with a short report from yesterday's negotiations. And we probably, I don't know, I always think Working Group 2 is actually Working Group 1 because it covers the first half of the text. So we probably start with Working Group 2. Who can report from negotiations in Working Group 2 covering sections 1, 2, 3 and 4? Any volunteers? I know we had volunteers yesterday, but I unfortunately didn't note the names. Volunteers? Working Group 2? Yesterday's negotiation? Yes, please.
Yes. I attended both the morning and the afternoon session, so I'll make this relatively brief. Ambassador Ash started right at 10 o'clock. And
this is Working Group 1.
This is Working Group 1, Section 5 and 6.
Yeah, I wanted to start with the first half of the text, so I wanted to start with Working Group 2.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were done. Yeah.
Well, we didn't find a volunteer so far for Working Group 2, Sections 1, 2, 3, 4.
There was a lot of action.
Good summary, somebody.
Huh?
Good summary.
It was that.
I mean, action there was. I can tell you about the action, but to be honest, that's all I can tell you.
Cool.
The action, yeah, was interesting. I think that, as you all know by now, Working Group 2 is moving particularly slow at times. You know, it's getting very stuck and a lot of new text is being introduced. So they were discussing the last paragraphs of the section on green economy, and suddenly a lot of text was being introduced by G77 and by Japan. That was to the eyes of the EU. So the EU made a comment saying that a co-chair was going to refrain from introducing new text, but please bear in mind that if all the delegations keep on introducing text, then we might reserve the right to actually do it. And in response to that, the G77 responded, actually summoned by the co-chair to respond on that, and to respond as well on some elements that were being introduced by Japan regarding technology. Elements that G77 was understanding them more as technology transfer and not as enhancing the role of technology in general terms. So from that moment things got a bit warmed up. The G77 basically said that things in the other group were working differently, and that we should not look at these working groups as a standalone group, but that we actually should look at the wider picture of the negotiations, and that if text was being introduced in the room, therefore text would also be introduced in the room. In response to what Japan was suggesting, well, the G77 didn't want to change its position regarding these amendments they were suggesting on technology transfer, and co-chair didn't like that at all. And in a burst of honesty, he simply said that attitude was not the attitude of a grown-up, and that using what was happening in the other room as a pretext was showing great disrespect to the person at that podium who was chairing. Well, at that very moment, G77 tried to speak again. It was very interesting to notice that they immediately changed the speaker, the person who was represented. I think that when things started, it was China represented, and the chain that was really operated was a Latin American member state that I couldn't really identify in the room. Despite his attempt to start, co-chair Kim said, no, I'm going to finish my words first. I'm not going to give you the floor because you're going to be too emotional if you respond right now. I think that we all so peculiar with the podium, and immediately, instantly after that, co-chair think in the great day he apologized to. If he had offended one of the big groups, like 7-Eleven, was on a grown up attitude. We continued. It is true that delegates continued somehow using new text. At that moment, we had to stop. We had finished the section on green economy and started the section on IFSD. And basically, the conversation had to stop because the business session didn't have in the room the key delegates who were negotiating on IFSD. I then followed a bit the very initial negotiations in 68 and 64, so the first day chapeau after those paragraphs were for IFSD. And there was a lot of tension in some of the sub-paras, many things that related, again, to technology transfer to know-how, but as well a lot on access for civil society. The EU wanted to put in some of the sub-paras of 69 an enhanced role and engagement in civil society. In G77, in one class of the text, the US neither, though the US kept on saying every time that it was very dear to their heart to really empower civil society and engage with them more, but nevertheless they found that that was not the place to do it. And that's where I stopped it, so sorry. I mean, it's more the action than the actual content, as I said.
Thank you very much. Are there any additions? Anyone else wants to add or any questions? Yes, please. Could you please speak up?
Maybe just to add that in the splinter group, and they reported back, they said that several paragraphs were, just to add that in the splinter group, when they reported back, they said that several paragraphs had been agreed. Among those was 3, 4, 9, 10, and 11. And they were pretty close to 12, 13, and 17 first of all. That might give it not really clearly explained.
Thank you very much. Could I probably just ask the people in the back, we have a lot of free chairs still in front of here. Probably you just feel like moving up here so they're sitting a bit more compact. And also the ones who are just joining us, feel free to join us here. We have a lot of seats free here in the front so that we're sitting a bit more compact to each other. You don't need to shout that much. Thank you very much. Are there any other additions or questions regarding working group 2?
One
Yes,
comment.
please.
One comment on that. Also, when they report back the splinter group in late night, they brought, let's say, a pre-discussed topic on paragraph 31 about corporate reporting, which you have been very active on that. It seems to be something that can be a tangible product. They will retake the discussion today, but it was interesting that they lead many paragraphs straight to the 41, so it's raising some interest in the topic, which is, I think, is positive.
Yeah.
From what I understand, the people who were in that discussion, some of the groups, that was not a full contact group who was there during the meeting, and so several of the group were a little bit concerned that they would report it out when a great portion of the splinter group was actually not in the room.
Yes, you mean the concern of the guy reporting from the person reporting from the splinter group in the late night?
Yeah. So it wasn't a full group that was there.
Yeah, sure. But my sense is that the reporting was a sort of they were reporting where they felt comfortable with that.
Okay.
The way I look at it.
But they're coming back to that today.
To the 41, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much for that. Is there anything else in working group 2? If not, then we move on to working group 1. The lady first, and then I over to you.
Good morning. My name is Catherine.
This is not working. You need to speak up, please.
Catherine Skovic, and I'm with the Anglican Consultative Council, and I'm with the Women's Group, and I also participate sometimes with NGOs and sit in on farms a little bit. Ambassador Ash began the session exactly at 10 o'clock, and he asked Australia for a report back on the transport, and that was prepared and was given out. In the morning from 10 to 3, there were, 10 to 1, there were 5 sections covered. 1, chemicals and waste, which involves 12 paragraphs. 2, sustainable consumption and production, which involves 8 paragraphs. 3, mining, 2 paragraphs. 4, education, 5 paragraphs. And 5, jobs, 10 paragraphs. I also sat in on the afternoon, 3 to 6, and the entire afternoon was devoted to oceans, which involves 21 paragraphs. Okay, so I'll first just kind of get a few highlights since it's rather lengthy. First one, chemicals and waste. Right out of the gate, Mexico said, we would like to delete this whole section. And the EU said, no, I think we should keep this section. It does have substance. We especially need to keep pairs 1, 3, 4, 10. The rest we could streamline. The U.S. made a few word changes, minor, such as further to continue. The G77 said, yes, keep this section. Switzerland, yes, keep this section. ROK, retain the section. And